I was thinking about something specifically that I'd love to unpack, and that is,
I mean, the overall feedback was
I think something that stood out for me was if there was one word that was used a lot in the feedback for me was
I wasn't really surprised because there was a liquor conversation, man.
I want the people who's ever watching to know that, and such is the healing journey. It is.
Awe, welcome back to the channel. Today Danny and I are going to have a little powwow catch up post podcast conversation. If you haven't checked out his podcast called When Men Heal, him and I sat down. I told him a bit about my journey. Here's some snippets of the chat, and then we'll jump into Danny and I's conversation.
How important was it for you, in hindsight now, to have found that the last psychologist that you were with for a while?
There is no way around seeking professional help. Another shift in my fatherhood was making the decision to be completely open and honest with them. The most rewarding things are the hardest conversations, man. I am imperfect. I will get things wrong. There will be times when I will say, I'm sorry, Dad effed up, and my bad. And I hope that you can forgive me.
Yeah.
And there will be times I need you to say that. Like speaking to your bra one-on-one is one thing. Going out in public and putting stuff out there is another thing.
You know,
The cost of healing. This is the first time I'm actually speaking about it publicly. When Men Heal 2.0.
2.0.
So this is a post-podcast catch-up. We haven't really chopped up his podcast, When Men Heal. If you haven't seen it, we'll obviously put a link here. Go and watch that interview with Danny and myself.
Let's do that thing.
Over there. I was surprised by the amount of feedback it got. I had guys and girls from all over the world, frankly. People I know, people I don't know.
Yeah.
But what's your overall sort of feedback on the feedback of the podcast?
I wasn't really surprised because there was a liquor conversation, and it's a good conversation. But it's always nice to have the feedback. I mean, the overall feedback was good. Yeah, women and men just reaching out, and still men sending inboxes. But I think it's been a beautiful feedback that I've gotten so far. Yeah.
Any sort of standout comments or people like stuff they've said?
Every comment for me is special, you know, because like you're creating this thing, and then like, I mean, from the beginning it was a bit slow, and then as it's going, it's building up, you know. So yeah, every comment for me is special, which it means someone's watching. Someone's taking time out to go, let me hear what they're talking about, you know what I mean? So yeah, there's nothing that really, like, I'm trying not to look at it like that.
Okay.
Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think something that stood out for me was a lot of men had come out of the woodwork and said, you know, thank you for if there was one word that was used a lot in the feedback for me was courage. Like, thank you for having the courage and for being brave enough to speak out. There were a few guys that mentioned how it's they found healing in speaking out, and although they're not there yet, they want to also be able to speak. And it just goes to show, out of the hour and 40-minute conversation, that resonated a lot with men. The silence, breaking the silence, and the inability or the inadequacy to speak, maybe. Because I think we're able. I just don't think that maybe we're allowed to. Because of the backlash.
I mean, this is why I created this. It's like, you know, so that we can just normalize this conversation. And now I keep repeating myself like a parrot, but I still find myself in company with men where just a simple thing like a compliment, where I'm like, nah, I like this characteristic of it, and they're like, don't know how to take it.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Which shows that there's still a lot that lot of work that we need to do just to be able to take a it took me a while as well to
Yeah.
take a compliment and like thank you,
Yeah.
because we have this thing that we do and it's like nah you bro, nah when you know what I mean, we can't just take it.
Well, if you
But
just take it and you don't have to
Yeah.
keep pushing back.
yeah, you just accept it and go, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna
Yeah.
receive this,
Yeah.
and yeah. Oh
I was thinking about something specifically that I'd love to unpack, and that is accountability as men, and the part of the healing journey that doesn't exempt your consequences of your actions. And I think about like divorce, for example, which is never a good idea, and I've been through it. And although I'm on the other side of my healing journey when it comes to divorce and separation, there's still the kids that suffer, you know. And even though myself and my kids were good years later, and we're still building on it, we're still mending, we're still healing, right? But it's much, much better. There's still a separation, there's still a void,
yeah.
right? That you can't. And I think I spoke about it on my channel when I referred to my trip to when I visited London, my son in New York. As much as him and I were tight and we bonded, there was a part of me that was hurting because I'm not there with him like a father should be physically, right? And so yes, I can phone and FaceTime and whatever and visit him. And that's the part that you can't escape in terms of, even though healing happens, it doesn't separate you or negate the consequences of one's action. And I think for men who, and especially for the younger generation, it saves you so much of those consequences just not doing it. Because although out of this, I think men can draw hope, knowing that it can get better and it will get better when you put in the work. I think the best thing is to avoid it completely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
If you can.
If you can, is to make as little decisions that you would have to heal from. You know, because you would always have to live with the consequences. What I'd like to put forward is that as men, we still take ownership through the process of healing. After this interview with you, I mean the podcast with you, so many of my family and friends who didn't know about my journey came to me as if it is part of me. And I had to remind them because they were like, "Yo, bro, like, are you okay? Are you, you know?" And that's natural. That's not. But I had to remind my world that, like, that's not me. It was. I was living that since the age of 13. You know, and only because of your invitation to the podcast did I unpack it.
Yeah.
But my point is that even though you can live on the other side of healing, there are still consequences. It keeps me humble. It keeps me remembering what I've been through. You know? It keeps me in terms of like my healing journey fit enough and self-aware enough to look back and go, "Oh, that's crazy how much I've changed. It's crazy who I've become," rather than avoidance tactic of like, "Nope, it's not me. I don't know that. I don't know you. I don't know what you're speaking about." You know what I mean? I think there's a thin line in being healed enough and having the self-awareness enough to know when and why to look back in case you need to address it, and when not to. Because you also don't want to live looking back. If that makes any sense.
I think I hear you. I always refer to healing as like ongoing journey. I'm very careful of saying healed, like it's the work is done. I would love to think that, but with my experience, it's a thing that is it's still going. Even if you don't do the actions anymore, say, of whatever you're doing, right? You live inside your head, you know. And even though you don't do the actions, you might be thinking of it. That means the healing is still, it's still a process. It's still happening, you know, and it's a constant journey of like, it becomes easier, I feel, but it doesn't really go away. And the not going away is like what you say, like to be able to learn from that and see, and it's like see what, like how you've grown. But it's difficult to also get to that point of like, I'm forgiving myself, and you can truly like look back and go, you know, I don't. There's something that you also mentioned in the podcast, like you're not that guy anymore, you know. But to get there, it's like it's not an easy journey to be able to go. I'm still struggling with it, you know. I still think about how I've messed up, you know. But I have to keep forgiving myself, and you gotta kind of meet people also where they are. You know, if you think about your own life, like if I think about people that I didn't want to forgive, I was there, you know. And it's not easy, and I had a right to feel
It's
that
not
way.
easy to not forgive, or it's not easy.
It's not easy to you know, depending on where you are, and you have a right to feel that way. Everyone has a right to feel how they feel on their journey. So yeah, and it's like you also said, like you know, you look at other guys and going, that was you, so you can only have grace,
Empathy and
empathy for them. You know what I mean? And like I try to be careful to not feel like, oh, I'm completely done with that. I'm here now. I'm giving back. That's why I put my disclaimer in the podcast. Like I'm no professional. And I have to be careful of not kind of giving back and making it seem like I know everything now, because I don't. I'm just giving what I've gone through and going, this is the steps that I took to help prevent someone else to go through. But you also got to go through.
Until you learn the lesson, it's like a game. You can't go to the next level if you don't finish that level. And so I find, and even in the Bible, it talks about the Israelites in the wilderness for 40 years, and they just kept on, and they didn't have to be there for 40 years. And I didn't have to go through my healing for as long as I did. I didn't have to hurt so many people and hurt myself and go through years and years of broken relationships and loss and all of that. But life will keep, until for you to go to the next level, I think I needed to, or anybody that goes in this healing journey needed to pass certain tests in order to move to the next level.
And you get tested again on the same thing. Like if you pray for, I've seen it with myself, to ask for more patience, then I'll get patience with being in traffic. But now I'm standing in the queue, going to the till to pay the groceries, then I'm like, you know what I mean? Now it's like, you still need some patience in different areas, you know. Because I mean, when I started the healing journey, it was like, I didn't like go to therapy and I was like fixed. You know what I mean? It was like an on and off thing, you know. Whereas now I'm at a place where I can call myself out quicker. I can stop the thing before it gets to where it's going, you know. You know, but it's not perfect. At least it didn't go there.
Again.
You know what I mean? So it's like, let me stop myself. Let me walk away. Like me specifically now with my anger and being impatient, is like, before I get too verbal, I have to be like, hey, stop, walk away, and just, you know, shut your mouth. You're standing in a queue. You don't know. You know?
So I was working out earlier today, and I was thinking about how sore
my body is, after I work out, I was just telling you earlier how my legs were cramping, and I equated it to healing actually, because I thought, we live in a filtered world where if you work out or run, you show your PB, you show like a good picture of your body, but we don't live in a world where we see the process, the messiness. Like we live in a very filtered world. Like we'll show us dressed up and our bodies, but we don't see what it took to get that body, or to look the way you did, or get that new business or whatever. And I thought about healing. Healing is the same I know for me and my channel, and what I'm trying to achieve with my social media accounts and my YouTube channel, I'm looking for it to represent real life. Right? And healing is messy. Healing is not like, I want the people who is ever watching to know that our chat and this is on the other side of what was very, very messy years, right? And we don't have to live outwardly showing people wearing our it's not about glorifying or amplifying the mess, but about the result of it, right? So, but it goes without saying that just like my body is paining and the fitness journey is filled with sweat, stinky socks. I was washing my shoes earlier. I was doing a trail run and my shoes were dirty and I was washing them. And so you may see me in those shoes when it's clean, but you don't see how dirty they were when I washed them. You don't smell how stinky my clothes are after a workout, right? And such is the healing journey. It is complicated, it's messy, it's never this and that equals that and that. You figure things out. There's lots of bad things said, people being hurt, and that is the part you can't avoid. That part. It's like fitness. You can't avoid the stinky shoes and the sweat and the pain and the sore body. And again, it's the first time in years that I'm having to revisit my own story. And it's interesting just to see people now come up and compliment and be like, wow, thank you, and that's great. But whoever's listening and on the journey, whether you're about to go into it, whether you're in it, or whether you're thinking about making choices to heal, understand that it gets messy. I don't think there's two ways around it.
It's not smooth sailing.
There's lots of tears. It's bad. It gets
it's like
bad
that notion of I just wanted to say that, and I guess that's part of it. I mean, life is like that. I like the analogy about the fitness and the shoes and the messiness of it. It's like when there's when you have those epiphanies of like in something so simple, you know what I mean, where you're like, wow, life is like this. And I think it's for me, it's like when I move away from all the noise and just spend time with God and go, okay, just teach me, just show me in this simple moment of washing dishes. What do I need to know? What are you trying to teach me? You know what I mean? Because there's so much noise around us, and if we give into the noise, we can't hear the voice of God. You know what I mean? And I was saying to my wife the other night, like, we should also be spending time with God when things are going good.
Of course.
Because it's such a simple thing, but that's what we do. We forget, and then when you need something,
when you need him, it's like he's like a butler.
Yeah, you want to go pray, and you're like, wow, why are things not happening? And I can't hear God because your head is full of noise. You can't hear because you didn't teach yourself to hear. You didn't. In the good times, that's why you can't hear, because
that's very good.
Your
ear is not trained.
It's not trained. You only want to listen when it's going cuck with you and you need something.
Lastly, in closing of this little episode, I was talking to my family about forgiveness. You know, we have this Tuesday turn up and talking to the kids and about just the power of forgiveness. Like, I think it's one of the forces in this world that resets life completely. Like, outside of love, I think forgiveness, and I think the two actually have to live in harmony. I don't think you can forgive without love, and I don't think you can love without forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I look
Yeah.
at my grandparents who were married for 60 plus years. My parents are at 50 odd years, 40, 50 years marriage, and you know, I've had good relationships modeled in front of me, and then of course Christ Himself. And if you study the Word of God, it is almost synonymous how the two are intertwined. And forgiveness, I find in this journey of my own healing, it's such a liberating thing, but it's one of the hardest things for people to do.
It's very.
And I think if anything, right, and again with sport, the hardest things that I had to do as an athlete, like ultra marathons or just things I've achieved physically, were the most rewarding things. Like something simple, I went cold plunging yesterday, right? And cold plunge, people find that really, really hard to do. Like some people I'm at a place now where I just get in. I know it's a simple analogy, but like people cannot get into cold water. But the reward on the other side of that is like, you know, for people that know how good a cold plunge is, it's so damn good. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things to do, and I've met people and friends, and I've been in relationships with people that really cannot forgive. And I get, because I had to forgive the people that hurt me, right? Not for them, because I needed to forgive them for me. And I had to understand in part of my forgiveness process that what happens to them is on them. Like I didn't need anything, even from my parents recently or my family. I didn't need any closure. Like your podcast for me had nothing to do with closure, or it had to do with everything with helping other men to speak out. And understand that it gets messy before it gets really good. And when it gets really good, it gets very good when you're healed. That was the intention of that. But true forgiveness, bro, it's like there's so much liberty and freedom once you've received the forgiveness of God from Him and then for yourself. Because then no matter, it's people look for closure and they need things. There's the other side of forgiveness, which is the hardest thing, and that is that freedom and that peace that you get, where it's not about forgetting. You know, it's not to say that, oh, I've just forgotten everything that I've done. You're very aware of it. In fact, forgiveness takes looking at what you've done. I remember when I was in my mess, I told my dad this. I said to him, I saw how it hurt my kids. I saw how it hurt my family. And I said to my dad, I want to live in that pain. I want to see the tears that my actions have caused other people, the hurt I've caused, because in seeing that and being awake to their pain, I could get my healing. Because if I was avoidant of what I did to others, it would make my forgiveness be like, oh, it's like, or what I've done, like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Whereas if I looked at the people I've hurt and engaged and seen their tears and their pain, it'll make me understand the repercussions of my actions. And then in seeking forgiveness for myself, I work from that place of deep hurt and pain, rather than like, making it seem to be what it's not.
Forgiveness is it's very rewarding, but one of the most difficult things to do, like you said.
Hey, unfortunately, my phone ran out of space, and so that's where the video cut. We kept on talking about forgiveness, and then I went to go and look, and then unfortunately I saw that it had stopped. But to wrap up this episode, I just want to say that forgiveness is fundamental in healing. And it's one of, if not the hardest things to do. Forgiveness does not mean that we forget what had happened to us. It doesn't remove the hurt and the pain. Holding on to unforgiveness is basically living in the pain and the prison of what had happened to you. Letting go in grace is where your true freedom and healing lies. The Word of God says in Philippians that forgetting what lies behind me, I press forward. And he uses the word press. For those of us who run, who work out, we know that the language he could have used could have been, I ease forward, I slide forward, but he uses this word press forward. There's a pressing that needs to happen. Isaiah, this passage of scripture that I like, I think it's 43 or somewhere there. He says, forget the former things. Forget the former things. This is God speaking. God is saying to the prophet Isaiah, forget the former things. I am doing a new thing. In the book of Corinthians, it says, the old in Christ, the old has gone and the new is here. And that is your reset. Forgiveness is your ultimate reset. So if you, like me, have been carrying something for years, if you're carrying something that is burdensome, that shapes your identity, your sexuality, your mental capacity, if you're carrying something heavy that you've not let go of, know that your healing isn't on the other side of them apologizing. It's not on the other side of getting closure from your perpetrators. Believe me, your peace is on the side of you choosing to let it go and trust God with it. God says he's doing a new thing. Paul says in his letters, I press forward, forgetting the things behind me. Isaiah says that God says to us, behold, I am doing a new thing. Our healing and our peace and our true freedom is on the side of us choosing to let go and let God. I know it's been a long episode, but I trust that it's a beautiful one for you as it is for me, sharing my journey with you. Forgiveness is your freedom. I pray that you walk in it, that we walk in it together. See you on the next one. Peace.